Trump just brokered an historic deal with Pfizer to lower drug prices for Americans. If this deal is really true and Americans are going to pay less for drugs, why did Pfizer's stock go up 5% right after the announcement? Let's get into how that deal happened. In this video, we're going to look more closely at the deal, how it came about, and what it means for you.
Yeah.
Because you're not taking any medications that are name brand, at least.
Not name brand, no.
Democratic and Republican presidents have been trying to get this done for decades. That's true. So the problem is that drug prices have been out of control in the United States for decades, increasing. And the real crux of the issue is that Americans have been paying like 3 times to like 10 times or more than other wealthy nations around the world, especially Europe and Canada. Why is that? We let it happen. That's it.
That's the long and short of it.
The long and short of it, we let it happen. In fact, I've had a lot of patients over the years, every doctor has, and I'm sure there's people watching who actually would buy their name brand meds from Canada. In fact, there's a Canadian drugstore just 10 miles down the road where you walk in there with your script from your doctor and you give it and they order your drug for you from Canada.
Oh, wow.
And you pay like 1/3 of the price.
Canadian price.
You pay the Canadian price.
Wow.
So there's this whole industry that's there.
If that doesn't tell you this is a problem, I don't know how you understand it to be a problem otherwise.
Exactly. This is clearly a problem. So yesterday, big announcement. The Trump administration unveiled this historic landmark deal with Pfizer, the drug maker Pfizer. I'm going to give you the quick breakdown of what happened with this deal. All right. So the main feature, they are launching a new website called trumprx.com, which is a direct-to-consumer platform allowing people to buy name brand drugs, or more specifically in this case, to buy Pfizer drugs through this website. But they're going to be able to buy those drugs at what's called MFN pricing.
MFN.
And you will hear this in the news and read about it. You may not know what it is. And
I don't.
So that stands for Most Favored Nation Pricing. Or in other words, a better way to say it is, of all the wealthy nations like Europe and Canada, whoever has the lowest price that they've been able to negotiate, that's the price that the United States will pay.
Whoa. That's going to be super low for some of these drugs.
So it'll be a lot lower, right? So it could be, they advertise it. It could be half the price that it is now. It could be significantly less than that, 80% lower in a couple of examples. I'll give you one example. Eliquis. There's a medication called Eliquis.
Okay.
It's one of the top drugs for Pfizer. Eliquis is a blood thinner, and it's a great drug. It works, and you don't have to monitor blood levels, and it's
just
awesome.
Kind of its own little thing.
It just does its thing.
Beautiful.
So in the United States right now, at least as of yesterday, or whenever this rolls out, that was about $500 per month to buy your Eliquis.
Okay.
In Germany, it's about $200. In Canada, it's about $180. And so what that will mean, in essence, is that now you will be able to go to trumprx.com when it launches, and you will be able to buy Eliquis at that MFN price, the lowest price. So it'll now be $180 instead. So that's how that's going to work. Just that simple. The other big deal about this announcement is that Medicaid will also have direct access to this MFN pricing. Again, this is a thing that Democrats and Republicans, but especially Democrats, have been trying to get the cost of drugs down for a long time. Maybe this is a big deal, but let's see. Why did the stock price go up for Pfizer if this is such a good deal?
I have a tendency to trust the Trump administration at all in regards to healthcare, particularly if they're benefiting a private company. So let's see.
Understandable. Another deal is that Pfizer has pledged that when they come out with some new, designer drug that will act as a treatment for XYZ disease, they won't launch any of those at higher prices in the United States than they will in other wealthy nations. So, in the United States, a new drug, it might cost $1,000 a month, but it costs $180 in Germany. Nope, that won't happen anymore. Now it'll be $180 in the United States and in Germany. And the other big deal, And one of the big drivers of this whole deal that we're going to get into a little bit later is that Pfizer has committed to onshoring 100% of the value of the imports. So instead of making their drugs overseas, they're going to be making all their drugs in the United States in exchange for a 3-year relief from all tariffs.
There it is. There it is.
So if they move the manufacturing to the United States of the drugs that are sold in the United States, 100% of the value of that, then they won't have to pay the tariffs. So it's a tariff relief deal. So just a little bit of context. There are other websites out there that have, deals for stuff like this. Mark Cuban,
I've heard of his,
has a costplusdrugs.com, and you can get lots of drugs for cheap. Cost plus a little bit of a percentage that, just for overhead. But it's important to note that that's for generic drugs only, not name brand drugs.
Is there a difference?
There is definitely a difference. Okay. So there are name brand drugs that are not yet available as a generic. You can only buy it as name brand.
Is that a patent issue?
It's a patent issue. Okay. Absolutely right. It's a great thing. I'm glad that Mark's doing that. Another question that has come up, isn't there a Biden deal where there's supposed to be some sort of a lower drug thing that takes effect? Yes. That's right. Biden, in his Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, allows Medicare to negotiate drug prices. And the way that deal worked from 2022 is that they picked the top 10 drugs in 2022, worked on a negotiation, and the new pricing, it goes into effect in 2026, at the beginning of 2026. That is independent of what this deal is.
Okay.
That's for Medicare patients only. So that allows Medicare to negotiate with drug companies in a direct way to lower the prices. So that's the contrast between the Trump RX, which is the brand name drugs, plus the Medicaid patient deal. So if I'm a cash pay person and I want to buy my name brand drug cash pay with my credit card, not run it through my insurance, I could use this TrumpRx.com. At this point, you might be wondering, yeah, but I have a private health insurance. I'm on Blue Cross. I'm on Aetna. I'm on United Healthcare.
Yeah.
How does that apply to me? How does this help me? Well, it may not help you at all. So here's how the deal happened. This is interesting because I was wondering about this.
The timeline.
Absolutely. On May 12th of this year, Trump wrote the executive order that he wants to deliver the MFN prescription drug pricing to American patients. And he offered a directive to HHS and to Commerce and all of these different organizations and government to make this happen.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Okay.
So that launched the process of trying to get a deal done.
Gotcha.
June 2025, Trump, or the White House, they sent letters to all the CEOs of all the drug makers.
Okay.
And they had to respond by the 29th of September, or they were going to be hit with tariffs. 25% plus, up to possibly 100%. All the negotiations are happening up till yesterday's announcement, and all of a sudden a deal has been done.
With Pfizer only.
With Pfizer only. Other drug companies are expected to come online as well. So we're waiting for that.
Yep.
If I were a drug maker, I wouldn't want that to be the only company that had their drugs listed on TrumpRx.com.
Yeah, because they're going to make a ton of money.
Right, absolutely right. Because remember, they're only the 5th largest maker of drugs, so we're still waiting for the deals
for them,
for those other drug makers as well. But I would expect those to come because they wouldn't want to be left out of this TrumpRx.com deal. And they certainly wouldn't want to be hit with the tariffs that Trump has threatened. Just threatened. Now, you might be wondering, so what's Trump's role in this? What's Trump's deal maker role? He's the master deal maker.
Let's hear it.
So let's see what Trump had to say. This is in his very opening remarks of the press conference, literally within the first minute.
This 2 days ago?
This happened yesterday.
Price reductions, as you'll see in a couple of minutes, that are incredible. For many years, Americans have paid the highest prices anywhere in the world for prescription drugs. They paid far more, 10 times, 13 times, 15 times more than other countries for the exact same product. A major reason is that the American consumers have been subsidizing research and development costs for the entire planet. They put all of that on us, and yet they were the beneficiaries too. So it's being changed as of today. The United States at just 4% of the world's population and consumers, only 13% of all prescription drugs, yet pharmaceutical companies make 75% of their profits from the United States. So think of that. We have 4% of the market, 13% of prescription drugs, and yet, Albert, I didn't know you were that violent. I'm surprised you're agreeing to this.
I'm getting better.
Come here. No, he's doing the right thing.
Who's he talking to?
He's talking to the CEO of Pfizer. Big Pharma is literally in the room with him.
Yeah.
And he's going to talk later, and we're going to listen to him talk in just a minute.
Yeah.
But I want you to observe that Trump read those numbers almost like it was the first time he even heard the figures.
Yeah, he's like, wow, you're being pretty aggressive with these numbers.
I think he simply directed other people
Told everyone to do something.
to go make a deal. Other people, other smart people went and made a deal, and then
he's reading and he's like, oh, jeez.
Right. I mean, does that strike you as a person who knew all the logistics of the deal?
That we have
No.
4% of the market, 13% of prescription drugs, and yet, Albert, I didn't know you were that violent.
He turned and looked at the CEO. I didn't know you were making that much money off of us.
Yeah.
He literally said, I didn't know how much money you were making off of us. Trump didn't even know the details or the figures.
Nope.
He just knew that Americans were paying significantly more than Europe and other wealthy nations.
Probably
That's all that Trump knew.
From what he heard from like Fox News or Twitter, honestly.
Possibly, but in this case, it's right, because America was paying much more.
This is an observable fact.
Yeah, observable fact. But what is also observable is that Trump seems surprised at the numbers, almost like it's the first time that he's heard them.
Yeah, he does seem pretty surprised.
Pretty interesting. So Trump, the deal maker, seemed to not be making any real deals other than the fact that the real driver of this entire thing was the threat of tariffs.
Yes.
Here's my proof. So this is Big Pharma, a CEO of major Big Pharma, my personal enemy as a physician in many ways, admitting that the United States has kind of been getting screwed.
Yes. Yeah. So it's an historic day because I think today we are turning the tide and we are reversing an unfair situation. For years, other rich nations refused to pay the fair share for the medical innovation. And as a result, Americans had to assume disproportional cost on their shoulders. This situation, we all knew, is not sustainable. This situation is a situation that many wanted to change, but no one could. This is changing today with this agreement. In July, the president sent to me.
Okay, that's enough of that.
Yeah.
So he just admitted that the United States, in an unsustainable way, has been paying disproportionate.
For sure.
So
they've contributed to the problem.
Clearly they have.
Republicans and Pfizer are both.
And Democrats. I mean, nobody's been able to get the job done.
They're not off the hook.
I mean, nobody's been able to get it done.
Pfizer's made it their mission to, if their job's to make money. They don't give a shit about anything else.
Good segue. Their job is to make money. So there are two reasons that this deal that lowers prices for Americans, yet the stock price for Pfizer went up. So there's two reasons that that happened, and he literally tells us the two reasons. Here's the first. Here's the first
Let's
one.
see.
In our industry, we had two major overhangs that have substantially reduced our valuations and create concerns for us in our ability to invest. We are addressing both of them right now, and I will speak about them. The first one was the uncertainty of tariffs. Because President is absolutely right. Tariffs is the most powerful tool to motivate behaviors, Mr. President, and clearly motivated ours, right? So,
tariffs are the most powerful driver that motivates behavior. And he literally laughs about it. It certainly motivated us. It brought them to the negotiating table and helped to get this deal done. So the threat of tariffs in this example, worked to a certain extent.
Yeah, to an extent, to achieve his stated goal.
Here's the other reason that they decided to do this deal. And it's a benefit for Pfizer, and they actually are going to go up in value after this announcement.
Yeah, let's hear it.
the second overhang in our industry was this uncertainty, what will happen with the framework of pricing in the country. Because this uncertainty, it was what was holding people from investing in the pharmaceutical industry, which resulted in significant reduction of our multiples. Actually, our multiples are at historical low. Well, now we have clarity about what is the framework for the US pricing.
That is such a, I can't with this country sometimes.
So he literally told us that his multiples are the problem. So it is true that the multiples of the drug industry are at historic lows.
Which are, for the people watching,
A multiple is a ratio. It's a PE ratio, or it's the stock price to earnings ratio. During the COVID years, when this company had a vaccine for a particular virus that was going all around and they were making a fortune off of that, they were at a multiple of 80, which is extremely high. Normally, a multiple might be something around 10.
Okay.
So they were at 80. Well, they're less than 10 now for sure. So they're at historic lows. He also says that now that the pricing is going to remain stable under this Trump RX deal, and they know what the pricing is going to be, they know what it'll be around the world. Stable pricing helps with a predictable revenue stream, which restores investor confidence. Investor confidence equals higher multiples equals higher stock price,
which equals more money for them.
which equals more ability to borrow money, which means that they can invest more in R&D and they can invest more in expansion. And so the higher the multiple, the better for them as a huge company. So that PE ratio, which is for anybody that's in the stock market, they understand a PE ratio. That announcement of TrumpRx.com in some sort of a steady revenue stream means that this company now has a predictable revenue, at least in that part of their entire business model. So investors were like, we like this. We think the stock is going to be going up.
And people are going to be directly purchasing things from Pfizer, so they'll just be pulling in more money alone.
Absolutely.
So it'll be more worthwhile.
Absolutely right. So the stock jumped 5%. Yeah. It's enough of an announcement that it actually increased the valuation of the company.
Yeah.
Because they saw that now they don't have to pay the tariffs for 3 years at least.
Yeah.
And now we're going to be the only drug manufacturer on TrumpRx.com, at least as of now.
For the moment, yeah.
At least as of now.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this and I'm wondering, okay, so who are the winners? Because Trump, he talks about how this is a big win for the United States.
Well,
the CEO of Pfizer says this is a big win for the United States. So I'm thinking, and for the patients of the United States who buy these drugs. So I'm thinking, okay, so if there's a winner.
I'll tell you who the winner is.
Well, if there's a winner, who's the loser? So here's the winners of this deal. American patients. I don't think that you can argue that if any American patients who need to buy these name brand drugs and they can get them off of TrumpRx.com at a cheaper price, that's a winner. Anybody on Medicaid and they're on any of these drugs from this drug company specifically, and maybe others in the future, they also will win because the prices are going to be lower.
Yeah.
Obviously. I would say that the Trump administration certainly will claim this as a victory.
There you go. I was waiting for that one.
They certainly will claim this as a huge victory from a negotiating standpoint. They were able to bring the prices down. Absolutely. And if it pans out, as it seems, I cannot argue that it would be a victory for the Trump administration.
They're going to parade it. Whether it turns out that way or not, they're going to parade it.
Of course. Who else is a victor? How about Pfizer?
Yeah,
their stock price went up. So they promised lower prices for Americans on medications, yet their stock price went up. Incredible, but they ended up being a victor because they're going to avoid billions in costs of tariffs.
Yeah.
It gains the stability, which led to the higher multiples, which leads to the higher stock price, and they can borrow more, they can do R&D, they can do more expansion. It ends up good for them from a business standpoint. Again, it's over my head, but it is what it is. So who loses if there's these winners,
You better put the American people in the losers section.
if the American people win, if the Trump administration wins as a negotiating victory, if the company itself promising lower prices to Americans also wins, who loses?
Somewhere in the real world, there's no such thing as a just winning and no losing ever at any point.
Correct.
It's not how that works.
So who loses? PBMs. Pharmacy benefit managers. So these are companies, if anybody on a medication out there might know Express Scripts, Caremark, OptumRx. It's a middleman. It's a middleman in between the drug company and the drug store who dispenses the medication. So there's this middleman that's in between those two.
Yeah.
And they make tens or hundreds of billions of dollars a year of revenue. So it cuts them out because now I order straight from
Okay.
TrumpRx.com.
I can say I like cutting out the middleman in that
I do too.
situation.
I do
You
too.
know what? I can call that a good thing.
It is a good thing.
I don't know about the rest of this. The rest of this, it sounds fishy to me. But that alone, I'm cool with that. They're just pulling money from the patient for no reason.
I got another one for you.
So let's see if I like this one.
Retail pharmacies like Walgreens. If I have to go buy my Eliquis at Walgreens for $500 because my doctor wrote me the prescription and I need to go there and buy it, and that's the price for it, I can bring my script, upload it to TrumpRx.com and get my Eliquis for $180. And so I won't be buying my stuff. I won't be a consumer at Walgreens anymore. I'll be buying my stuff from TrumpRx.com.
Straight from Pfizer, yeah.
Which is essentially straight from Pfizer, exactly right. Who else is going to get hurt? I told you that in order to avoid the tariffs, they would have to move manufacturing into the United States. So Ireland, Germany, and China, and India, and other places where there are plants.
Yeah.
So it's possible that there could be some plants in other countries that are closed down as a result of this. We'll see how that goes. If the United States is paying less because the United States had been bearing the burden of most of the profit of these companies, and that means that they're going to have to get their profit from somewhere else. So it's possible that other nations are going to now have to pay more than they have been. So Germany probably is going to see an increase in the pricing, or Canada is going to see an increase in the pricing. Maybe not a huge increase, but some increase.
I would actually be surprised to see that.
To offset costs.
Because theirs is law says they can't raise price.
Okay, so
ours is pretty please.
Ours is capitalism.
Ours is, hey, can you pretty please don't charge us so much? Canada's like,
well, not anymore. It's not a pretty please.
You have 30 days to lower the prices.
Not anymore. It's not a pretty please. So let's look at, the critics, because there are critics of this. What are the pushbacks? What's going to be the problem with this? Because this sounds too good to be true.
Yeah, I got a few thoughts.
So that means that Germany and Canada are going to have to pay more and we pay less, and we win and they lose, and that's like just a net, zero equation there. There are some who are calling this Trump RX deal just a gimmick. It's limited reach. It's not going to be that many medications, and we don't really know. Moreover, a list of medications has not even yet been released, and
that's interesting.
The price reduction for each of the medications has also not been released, and so we don't even know how much of a discount there's going to be.
What's the qualification for, what is it, wealthy nation? I don't know if Japan counted or Australia counted or...
It hasn't been articulated exactly.
So it's kind of vague.
Well, it's definitely vague.
Sure they gesture to Europe often and Canada, but outside of that...
We'll see.
Okay.
I mean, obviously the scope is limited. This is just one company. So if it's just one company and it stays one company, then the impact is going to be very small. But if the other top drug makers also get in on this deal and they do the same thing, well, then the impact obviously would get much larger. So we'll just have to see what happens. We don't know. Many patients, most patients have private health insurance like Blue Cross or Aetna or United Healthcare, or they have Medicare or a Medicare HMO, and they may see no benefit whatsoever from this because, again, this is a negotiation for direct cash pay people to buy with their credit card on TrumpRx.com, or for Medicaid people opening up the Medicaid availability to some of these name brand drugs.
It sounds nice to the ear, but the moment you kind of open the cover to what's really going on...
Correct.
Oh, I don't even benefit. Yeah.
Right. And what we still don't even know is, let's say I've got Aetna or United Healthcare as a health insurance and I'm getting some expensive drug through them. They might say, we're not even going to cover that drug anymore because you can go buy that drug yourself on trumprx.com. So we're removing that drug entirely off of our formulary.
Yeah, so I might end up doing damage.
So there's uncertainty. We don't know if that'll happen. I don't know if that'll happen. Who knows what? So there's uncertainty. It's possible that the tariff threat could be coercion. I'll leave that up to the viewer on whether that's good business deal making. I'll leave it up to the viewer on whether it's a good idea for a single person, the President of the United States, to have so much power by him or herself to control so much of the pricing, so much of the capitalistic approach that's going on here.
It's rough.
I'll leave it up to you to decide. Is it possible that they'll really bring all these jobs and all this stuff back in the United States and make the drugs here in the United States? And can they get it done in 3 years or make some sort of a good faith effort to get that done? Don't know. We'll have to see. Is this just a political play? Is Pfizer just waiting out Trump? Which is what you're getting at. Absolutely right. It might just be. And what's going to happen abroad? What's going to happen in Europe and Canada? Maybe we don't care. Maybe we do care. Again, uncertainty, all kinds of uncertainty. Will other drug manufacturers get on board and sign the same kind of deal as this? At its face, as a physician, I'm thinking to myself, a person can go to Mark Cuban's website and get a generic drug at cost plus. Great. A person can go to Trump RX and get a name brand drug for the lowest or MFN price, the lowest price that's available anywhere in the world. As a physician, I say to myself, okay, I actually like this. But there's all these unanswered questions that I just don't know how fully this is going to play out in the long run. But at first sniff,
if everyone is very nice and kind and honorable and just, this is cool.
We apparently are going to have access through trumprx.com to lower drug prices through Pfizer, and possibly other drug companies will come online as they work these deals over the next weeks and months. Good thing, at first glance, it seems like maybe it is. No Republican or Democrat has gotten this done in decades, so this is something.
Yeah.
It is.
I don't have a tendency to trust anything with Trump's name stamped on it.
It's hard to fully trust it, but at first glance,
I can give credit when I see it come to fruition and doing positive things.
We will, exactly. So
that's when I can give credit.
And we will have to keep close watch and see how this, how it rolls out. Because I don't know if Trump RX is going to operate something like Trump Steaks or Trump University, but we'll see. Please follow us on our socials.
Yes.
We invite you to join our Discord.
We have a Patreon.
Patreon is free, and come say hi on Twitter or
on Twitter, Blue Sky. Interact with us.
And we've got lots more exciting deep dives coming your way soon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful week.